Bikini Bottom genetics. Scientists at Bikini Bottom have been investigating the genetic makeup of the organisms in the community. Use the information provided and your knowledge of genetics to answer each question. Number 1. For each genotype below, indicate whether it is heterozygous or homozygous. Heterozygous are ones that are not the same, where you have one of each trait. For example, differences in height or color. So we're going to go through and get any of the ones that are different, for example, capital B, lowercase b, and put an HE beside it, because that means heterozygous. Capital F, lowercase f, HE. Capital D, lower d, HE. Capital T, lower t, HE. Those are the ones that are heterozygous. They have one of each type of allele. The homozygous ones would be all of the rest because they have the same, either capital or lowercase, but they are still the same. So go through now and mark those as homozygous with an H and an O. Check your work. Which of the genotypes would be considered purebred? All of the ones that are homozygous. For example, this one, all the ones that I'm putting a little mark by, the ones that are the ones that are homozygous, they would be purebred. So all of the HO. Which one is a hybrid? That means you have one of each trait. That would be all the ones that you have marked HE. All of the heterozygous. Two, determine the phenotype for each of the following using the information provided about SpongeBob. Yellow is dominant to blue. So yellow would be the capital Y, blue would be the lowercase y. So whenever you have a capital Y, it has to be an organism that's yellow. If there's a capital and a lower, it would be also yellow. The only time you would get blue is if you had two lowercase y's. The first one, two capital Y's, they're both dominant, that's yellow. The next one, heterozygous, there is a capital Y there, so it is also yellow. Homozygous blue, that's the only one that would show the blue color. Do the same thing with square being dominant to round. Square would be a capital S, round would be a lowercase s. The first one, two capital S's, would be square. The next one, a capital and a lower. Capital is dominant, would also be square. Lowercase s, that's both recessive, so that would be round. Three, for each phenotype, that's the physical appearance, physical, give the genotypes that are possible for Patrick. Tall head, capital T, is dominant to short. So the possibilities for the genotype to show that someone is tall would be either capital T, or capital T, lowercase t. The only way that he could be short is if he had two lowercase t alleles. Pink is dominant to yellow. Pink bodies would be capital P, or capital P and one lowercase p. Yellow body, both lowercase p. SpongeBob SquarePants recently met Sponge Susie Roundpants at a dance. SpongeBob is heterozygous for his square shape. Okay, let's just stop and write down what SpongeBob is. He's heterozygous for his square shape, so he would be a capital S and a lower S. Heterozygous means one of each. Susie is round. Round is a recessive trait. Susie would be lowercase s, lowercase s. Create a Punnett square to show the possibilities that would result with SpongeBob and Sponge Susie should they have children. Okay, they were telling you to refer up here. We already did this information. So if SpongeBob is capital S, lower s, and Susie is lower s, what could their children be? We'll bring SpongeBob's capital S's down in the first boxes and bring his lowercase down in both boxes. I always bring the small ones over to the side in case there's a capital that should always go first. Bringing Susie's information over, she happens to have all lowercase s's. Fill in your box the same way. List the possible genotypes and phenotypes for their children. The genotypes are the letters. The phenotypes is their physical appearance. So the possible genotypes would be capital S, lowercase s, which would be these two. And then lowercase s. Those are the two genotypes. The phenotypes, the physical characteristics that their children could have, well, they could either be square, which would be these ones, or round, which would be these ones. B, what are the chances the child will have a square shape? These are the ones that are square, 2 out of 4. So 2 out of 4 would give you 50%. Round shape would be these two. Two out of 4, again, 50%. 50% of their offspring could be round, 50% could be square. Patrick met Patty at the dance. Both of them are heterozygous for their pink body color, which is dominant over a yellow body color. Okay, so body color. And we're going to create a Punnett square to show the possibilities that would result if Patrick and Patty had children. Hint, read question number 3. Why are you reading question 3? Because you're looking right here to figure out what you're going to use for dominant and recessive. So if they're both heterozygous for pink, they are both capital P, lowercase p. So let's put Patrick and Patty's information on either the top and the side of the Punnett square. Let's bring the capital P down for Patrick and his lowercase p. Bring Patty's capital P over and then bring her lowercase p over. List the possible genotypes, the letters. Well, they could be capital P, capital P. They could be one of each, capital and lower. And they could be both lower. What are the chances of a child with a pink body color? Pink would be any one that had a capital P. So here's 1, 2, 3 of 4. 3 out of 4. That's 75%. So put 75 in. What chances are a child with a yellow color? That's this one right here. The two lowercase p's. 1 out of 4, which gives you 25%. On the back. Everyone in Squidward's family has light blue skin, which is dominant for the body color in his hometown of Squid Valley. His family brags that they are a purebred line. He recently married a girl who has light green skin, which is a recessive trait. Create a Punnett square to show the possibilities that would result if Squidward and his new bride had children. Use capital B to represent the dominant gene of blue and lowercase b to represent the recessive gene of green. So if he has light blue skin and blue is dominant, he would have at least one capital B. And they are saying that they're purebred. So since we remember from the first page that purebred means you have same letters, they are saying that he would be capital B, capital B. His wife is green, so she would have to be homozygous recessive because of her green skin. Let's see what their children would be. Capital B's for Squidward, lowercase b's for his bride. Bringing his information down, remember keeping the capitals to the left. Bring the lowercase b's from his bride over. List the possible genotypes and phenotypes. Genotypes, letters, phenotypes, physical characteristics. Well, they all have a capital B, and they all have a lowercase b. So this is their only genotype, and therefore their only phenotype is they would all be blue. What are the chances of a child with light blue skin? 100%. What are the chances of a child with light green skin? None. Would his children still be considered a purebred, having both capital B's? No. They would inherit a recessive allele from mom. They're heterozygous. They are heterozygous. Assume that one of Squidward's sons, who is heterozygous for the light blue body color, so he would be this, married a girl that was also heterozygous. Same thing. Create a Punnett square. So here's an offspring and his wife, bringing the son's information down, one of SpongeBob's sons. Then bring his wife's information over. List the possible genotypes and phenotypes. The genotypes are the letters. They could be capital B, homozygous dominant. They could be capital B, lowercase b, heterozygous. Or they could be lowercase b, homozygous recessive. What are the chances of a child with light blue skin? It will be all of these. 75%. What are the chances of a child with light green skin? 25%. We'll skip the last one.